Hey, what is up, YouTube? It's Rich. All right, so welcome back, sort of, to the Moebius Storyteller Spotlight Super Fun Sunday, a quick 10, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, yesterday, right when I was about to start the video, I got a text and I had to cut out. So anyway, we're going to continue. I actually grabbed a different book. So this is Moebius Fusion. These are all great, though. They're kind of small hardcovers. It looks like they were printed by Epic Comics. I don't think that they're that expensive. And if you put a watch on eBay, I think you could definitely find these and pick them up for a pretty affordable price. And they're really fun. And his stuff is just cool. You know, if you haven't acquired it and a taste for it yet, I think at some point you will. If you're really into art, there's a little something for everyone in Moebius's work. So anyway, what is Super Fun Sunday going to be? It's going to be super fun. All right, so let's just get into this. Let's do it. Fusion. I don't know all the different mediums that he uses, so I won't really speculate on that. It may say in the book. Some of these books are pretty good with it, but you know, as I mentioned in the other video, Jean Giraud did a long. Sorry, I was reading the credits, and it has a different letter on this book because I had mentioned that a friend of mine did the letters in the first one, or text, I should say, not Moebius. I think generally will. He actually has said that one thing that I think surprised him about American comic book artists is that they don't letter their own stuff, and he feels that that's incredibly important. Oh God, and even think about that now, I'm like, oh shit, Blaster Kid needs to be lettered too. Oh my God, am I going to letter it too? I think what I'll do is, I mean, I always hate to refer to Travis, but Travis did some of the lettering in his book. So I wouldn't letter every single word balloon, but like sound effects and maybe some of the stuff, the more sort of key beats where it's stylized lettering, I would do that. Back in the day, and I can't remember who it was, one of the letterers created custom fonts for the Cliffhanger guys. So like J. Scott Campbell gave him like samples of his handwriting, I think in capital letters and also lowercase. I could be wrong on that. And then I want to say it was Richard Starkings actually created basically like a digital font based on his writing, which is really, really neat. I think it would be quite expensive to have someone do that for you. But in a fantasy world, I wouldn't mind having that because I have decent handwriting. As a kid, I really took pride in my handwriting. Lots of Dungeons and Dragons, so I was always writing up character sheets, and I was extremely meticulous with, you know, when we wouldn't use the store-bought ones, and we would make our own. Man, I was so picky about, like, everything had to look perfect, or I would freaking start over and over and over again. I mean, it's just something I've dealt with my whole life. So anyway, with Moebius, he draws a lot of stuff. I don't know if you want to call it on the side, but I think once he was a successful artist, he just really was able to cut loose. And he may have been doing jobs, but at the same time, I mean, he would just draw for fun and create all kinds of different imagery, and it's just fantastic work. This is really crazy. This is so detailed, and you can even see, I'm going to try to zoom in here a little bit, all the layers of paint, like the different colors. Like if you look, you've got that kind of deep, dark kind of forest green underneath everything. He did black lines over that. Then you've got the blue. Well, the blue was actually, looks like it's underneath the black lines. And then even kind of a light kind of grayish blue maybe. And then you got the little bloody color, and then some white paint that started to change color because it's on top of that. It could be, he definitely used white. Sometimes when you put white paint over color, it will sort of change color. It depends on how wet it is and how sort of watered down it is, but it's a really, really detailed piece. These are always really cool. But yeah, he's a very, very iconic artist. And there's definitely things that you will see in other artists' work where you will always kind of refer to it as like a Moebius thing, which is pretty cool. Like he definitely, you know, I don't know like fashion wise like what he was influenced by, but he definitely created some unique looks. Can't imagine wearing that outfit. I would feel very dapper. Look at that. That's so cool. I'm using my better camera, but the better camera has its own like sort of Achilles heels with filming videos, but man, that is gorgeous. That is really, really nice. I'm doing the autofocus with my finger so that it stays in focus, but man, that is so kick-ass. It almost looks like airbrush. Like he might have put down that sort of sandy color and then hit it with a sprinkle of like yellow. Then over here faded it out and then went in with like a thinned out paint and kind of did some of the highlights. Very, very attractive looking techniques. It's like together. This is cool colored paper. Again, when I see these pieces, I definitely think Terada. I think Terada is a big Moebius fan. Hopefully everyone's having a good day. I know I always say that, but I actually mean it. When it occurs to my mind, I picture that I'm talking to people out there that are living their lives and they've come to YouTube to have a super fun Sunday. But, you know, I always do wish you all well. And it was kind of neat. I was thinking about this morning that I'm like, man, I bet that there's people that sort of look forward to the super fun Sunday, whether they watch it or not today. But it's got to be kind of neat because I know there's days of the week where I know that like some of the YouTube channels that I follow do certain shows, and it is kind of cool. Like even if I don't tune in that day, it's comforting to know that they're out there doing it. Man, that is really cool. This is a wild looking animal. There's like a dove outside making a lot of noise. I probably can hear it a little bit. But he stopped. He or she, I don't know. There it goes. Oh man, this is really cool. He's got some really nice, like these orbs that are kind of on the side of the head, and he's got some really nice shading underneath them that gives it a really nice sense of depth and pop. It's also the lighting on it. If you see the grays where they get kind of a little bit darker on the underplane, I can kind of point it out. Down here it gets darker and then here it gets lighter, but it really creates a sense of form. You see lighter here, darker here, and it really makes it pop quite well. And he did kind of the same thing with the face. He's got these side planes sort of in shadow, a little cast shadow under there. And really gives the face some nice dimension. So I promised I would give an update on Blaster Kid today during the video. I'll make it pretty fast, but I am working on it. I am going to start posting preview images as soon as I get stuff presentable. And I am penciling, inking, and coloring it, and probably hand lettering little bits and pieces on top of writing it. I may not color the whole book, but I'm going to color quite a bit of it, and at least almost like a keyframe thing where it's like for scenes, I will definitely color some of them, and then I can always maybe have someone try to mimic what I've established, but I have a pretty clear vision of how I want this book to look. And although when you draw the scenes and you actually get in and start coloring it, that stuff will evolve. But I think it will cause me less frustrations, at least getting some of the stuff set up. But yeah, so honestly, within the next week or two, you'll start seeing a steady stream of art. And this is what I'm looking at right now, is because Comic-Con is coming up in 10 weeks. In terms of any kind of like crowdfunding campaign, even getting engaged, it will definitely be after Comic-Con. So I'm not even going to worry about that right now until at least the end of July. But it just gives me time to focus on the work, because regardless of anything, the crowdfunding campaign could make $5,000. It can make $50,000. I still need to draw the book. So it's not going to hurt me either way to just focus on that for 2 or 3 months and get as much work done as possible, show it, have people seeing it. It's going to be the same experience for everyone. And I think that the more art that people see, the more excited they're going to be about it anyway. So it's a win-win for me in terms of just being able to focus on that. Because, I mean, honestly, look, like drawing the book is a lot of work. Writing and drawing it is more work. Writing, drawing it and inking it is more. And then coloring it is more. I mean, you have to understand it's a tremendous amount of work that I'm taking on. I want it to be cool. So This is interesting. So these are some of his Marvel pieces. He's only really done a small handful of them, and sometimes artists like Moebius when they do superhero comics, it doesn't translate well, but I think his actually does. It's this almost looks like Liberatore or vice versa, but yeah, that face is really like. Rawr. But yeah, for whatever reason, he's able to pull it off, and they actually look really really cool. He did a Silver Surfer book with Stan Lee that people love, and yeah, it is not easy for sometimes artists who have been working in different genres to come in and do American superhero comics and have it fit. You know, it's not that they're bad artists. It's just that there's like a disconnect somehow. Man, that is great. I would love to see this story. Holy cow, that would have been great. It's really interesting, like some kind of futuristic savage land. Really, really cool. Oh man, dude, he brought it. That's a beefy Spider-Man. Holy cow. Hopefully this isn't too dark. And I apologize if my fingers are super dirty. I'm on a super tight deadline doing about 2 pages a day. And yeah, your hands get just fried from it. I wash them constantly, but it's like you start getting so much ink and just stuff on your hands. It's like it takes 2 days after you're done with the job to like, have your hands return to normal, at least for me. Whoa, 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 buddy. You didn't see that. Isn't it crazy how many different styles this guy's worked in? Oh, he does really good cats. Like, we have a print. I don't know if it'll be here. Oh, Batman. Interesting. Man, it's so casual, but it's so good. We have a print of a cat that he did. I don't know if it'll be in this book, but it's really nice. It's not colorful like that though. It's different, but Monica Bennett, who is married to Aaron Weisenfeld, had it up in her office at Wildstorm, and I always loved the piece. And whenever I would come in and I would be talking to her, I would always be like staring at it. And one day I saw it at like a comic book convention, and I bought it. It's like now I can stare at it. I think it might be up in our house, but it's in a room I don't go to very often because I'm always in my office. This is the only room I have. This room and then the room I sleep in. That's all I see in the kitchen. Oh man, that's really cool. Great layout, man. And this is sequential. All right, let's check this whole thing out. Man, that's nice. It looks fairly simple, but this is a pretty complex thing. I mean, he could probably block in a page like this in 15 or 20 minutes, you know. Inking it would take a couple hours, and then coloring it, you know, you're still looking at a pretty full day's worth of work to do a piece like this. I don't know if you can hear that, but I have a cat outside the door. There's a Minecraft toy that's kind of like half in the office, half underneath the door. And I think she's playing with that. Oh, that's really cool. Wow, that's really cool. He did this series of pieces that's in a book, and they're in this style, really, really detailed. Eric Canetti had it, and he worked at Wildstorm for a while, and he made these huge posters of them with each of the panels. So, like, it would be a poster about 3 feet by 2 feet with maybe 15 or 20 images on it, and he ended up, like, when he left, he was like, if you want to keep it, you can. And I kept one of them. I have it in the garage, but he like plastic sealed them, so it's kind of cool. They're like, it's like the thickness of like one of those placemat things with really kick-ass Moebius art in it. Man, that's crazy. That's a death. So wow, that's really cool. He's done. Oh man, and there's a really crazy Silver Surfer or surfer. I've probably only looked at this book a few times, as crazy as that is, but I'll have this mood where I'll go, I need to look at Moebius, and I'll bring all my Moebius books in that I can find, and I'll flip them usually in one night, and then they kind of go like back on a shelf, and then I sort of shuffle books in and out. But yeah, I don't have a ton of time to really look at art, so most of the time my books are in limbo, which again is the whole foundation of a lot of these videos that I do. Is it's a cheat, it's a hack for me. Share cool art on YouTube, and then you get a look at it. Oh, Punisher. So it's a win-win. And I've actually sold a lot of books for people. I'm not gonna take like major credit for it, but definitely this has actually got movement. I know because I get comments from people quite often that they grab these books after they see them. So that's really, really cool. It's a neat bonus. That's really nice. Kind of reminds me of some of the stuff in the Star Wars, like Art of Star Wars books. That's cool too. Wow. Oh man, that's really neat. Hello. Oh man, dude. Oh, yeah. That looks a lot like Inky Bilal. You could tell like because Inky kind of draws a lot like Jean, and man, these are great. Oh, this is really cool stuff. It's just like really, really neat. Feels very 80s. Oh, it is 86. This would be a crazy toy line. Oh my god. It would be so badass. See, now whenever I see stuff like this, it makes me think of the what's it called, the riff. I can't think of the name of the movie. The one with Leonardo DiCaprio. Revenant. Yeah, it's like if I see Indians and like landscapes, although the color palette was very different. It's funny, one thing I have against myself when I do these videos is I do them kind of first thing in the morning. My brain doesn't get warmed up for a couple hours, so I'm a little more fumbly. It's weird. I'm telling you, there's a weird disconnect when you're shooting the video because I'm really focused on the camera and not the book, and so everything feels like slightly like it's like you're looking at things like two steps away. It's a self-portrait. Oh man, cool. It's got a pretty realistic quality of the faces, even though it's very stylized, but it's nice. It's funny, all this stuff kind of tumbling through the air reminds me of like something Jeff Darrow would do. I should do a Jeff Darrow, like Hardboiled would be pretty cool. And again, by all means, suggest stuff. All the suggestions, they're all like in the Rolodex of things I'm going to do. Some artists are easier to do than others, just based on where the work exists. Because I have a lot of the books and magazines and stuff like that. But like Corbin, man, I would really have to spend some time on a Corbin video to put it together because his stuff is so scattered and there's no one like really, really high res collection. And even for me, my Corbin is so spread out over like, 8-page story here, or a cover there, or a page I ripped out of a magazine here. So his will take work, but I'm definitely like always thinking about doing it. My deadlines are pretty tight right now. I'm not gonna lie. Like for the next at least 2 months, I'm really, really gonna be dealing with like tight deadlines for my just day work. But the nice thing is it does put me on a schedule, which makes it easier for me to work on Blaster Kid. When I'm waiting for pages is even worse. I was trying to explain to someone that if I have a lot of work to do in a day, although I may have 2 or 3 hours in the morning that I'm not doing anything, sometimes I have to kind of save my energy for what's coming. So, you know, like doing a video and looking at art is gets me at least inspired for the workday, which is going to be anywhere from maybe 12 to 14 hours. And on those days, I generally don't like to draw a lot before I start it, just so I can be fresh. So those are days that I try to do something that I wouldn't normally do, like look at art, because the stuff does really inspire me. It gives me a lot of ideas, even if I wouldn't do something exactly like this. It still it makes you think of things differently than maybe you would yourself. I always think that those are powerful muscles to sort of like, would I ever draw a face that looks like this and show it online? Probably not. But the fact that he's done it gives me the confidence to go, oh, it's okay. You can show stuff like that. Like if you do a cool piece and it's in an interesting story, not everything has to be this like insanely, over manicured, super perfect, or it shows you that things are doable. And I know other people feel that way too. So it can be a confidence builder, seeing someone that's bold enough to let it go. It's really cool. He actually, in one of the books I have, he did some like real, like contemporary landscapes. It was really weird to see something so normal from him. It's like, oh my God, he just drew a street with like cars and palm trees. It's like, that seems strange. These are really neat. These have a little bit of a Giger feel. I had mentioned the video yesterday that these guys were kind of contemporaries in a way, and both do sort of different art. Confusion's funny, but I kind of was like, I wonder if he ever. Oh, those are crazy. It's going Monera. Oh yeah, look, these are them. But yeah, like I said, this stuff looks weird to me. This looks like Sunset Boulevard. Like, I've driven down the street before. Oh, it's Wilshire. How funny is that? Like, man, it's so LA. The weirdest thing with LA, and I've never lived there, but I've visited it, is this lane where cars park can sometimes be a lane that you drive in. And it's really weird because you'll have people, like, driving here, but then they have to avoid the cars. It's really weird. Like, it always was, like, is it a lane or is it parking? Because, like, where I live, we don't really have stuff like that. Man, that looks just like where I live, too. Where's my camera? Oh, so that's what it is. Okay, so this camera shuts off at 4 gig size video. I never knew what it was, but it's because of the resolution. That's lame. Come on, just let it run. I'm talking the camera, not me. But yeah, I was filming all these working videos, and I kept wondering why they were stopping at certain times. But it's whenever the video gets to 4 gigs, it shuts off and starts a new one. Oh, this is so great. I was like. It's weird because when I was younger, I didn't really like Westerns, but for a long time now, I've really been kind of fascinated with that whole Wild West thing. And it's not necessarily that it has to be a Western, like cowboys and Indians and the frontier, but the primitiveness of it, I find completely mesmerizing. It's so like nuts and bolts. So I kind of get why people are fans of that. It's funny because the timer on this actually says that it's still recording one video. It's deceiving. This is really great. Oh man, these are so detailed. It's really, really deceiving. But in that one book that we went through, he had a few pieces like this. These are nuts. Like, this is so much work. It might not seem like it, but I'm telling you, this thing took forever. And if it didn't, then he's psycho. Because I'm telling you, this is like so much. It's so intricate, man. Really, really incredible. I'm trying to show the whole thing. And that's where it gets scary when I consider that I'm penciling, inking, and coloring something like I'd probably hand color it like this, but yeah. Oh man, those little guys are cool. Even something like this that seems a little sparse. Like stuff is spread out. It's not like there's splatter and stars and speed lines and everything everywhere. But I mean, I bet this took at least 60 hours, maybe 100. Could have even been more. Oh my god, this is crazy too, dude. Wow, we're ending with some killer pieces, man. Again, this is so incredibly detailed. Fairly flat color across the plane, but up in here, man alive. Oh, that's so cool. But do you see why I need to color my own work? When you see stuff like this, it's so unique to itself that although I wouldn't color like this, I think every artist has it in them to create that kind of thing that just, you see it and you go, man, that is so blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm going to start wrapping this up because I have so much work to do today. But thank you for tuning in. If you can, I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. I'm still a decent amount away, but I am going to start trying to push for that. I would love by summer or the end of summer to break 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. So if you can help me in any way, if there's an old video that you like that you would want to share, whatever it is, it doesn't have to be this, but I would really appreciate it. And it doesn't have to be today. It could be just down the road that you think about it one day and go, oh, you know what, this is really cool. I'll share this. It would really help me out. Okay? All right, have an awesome day. Oh, I love these black paper drawings. They're so cool. I'm going to show you this. It's really, really awesome. But yeah, these are great. So yeah, I would highly recommend this book. This is a real good one. Kind of glad I switched it up. Oh, there's a few of these. We'll look at these really quick because I do actually really like these, and it's a good excuse for me to check them out. Get a pad of black paper and some good colored pencils, and boy, I'll tell you what, you can have a lot of fun. It really, really creates some really neat effects, and when you get used to it, you'll get better and better at it. At first, it's a little different because you're thinking linearly, but you can also do it in some different ways. It's like hitting the invert button in Photoshop. Oh man, that's really cool. It's some nice colors on there. He has a very kind of Midwestern color palette on some stuff, and this is really nice. We'll end it on this. Man, that is so nice. Boy, oh, like what a just really fantastic drawing. Okay, have a great day, and I hope that puts you on a good path for the afternoon and whatever you're creating today. All right, later. Bye.